Welcome back to these advanced mixing techniques. Today we are going to look at spatial awareness and panning. Okay, so spatial awareness panning, what is it? Well, it gives you the ability to transform your tracks and give additional space and awareness to the listener of where you want to hear the instruments coming from. This is almost very vital in every recording instance, especially in games production and recording the productions of your own. As if you leave everything centrally panned, it sounds very dull and almost like everything is literally coming from one direction on top of each other. So I have here a basic track that I've just quickly put together. Nothing too special. And I've left panning till the end because I don't think panning is particularly creative when putting a song together. But yeah, now's the chance to do it. So here's a track with everything panned centrally and pretty much all the volumes set to where they should be. So it's not a bad sounding track there, but everything does sound like it's on top of each other. So today we're going to look at 3 options in Logic Pro for panning. Okay, so we're going to look at stereo, we're going to look at binaural and balance. So the default panning option in Logic is the balance option, which can be seen right here. So if you press X to get into your mix window and then you right click on your pan, you will see that it's all across the board is balance. So balance basically just means that if you have a mono track, i.e. one single track, not in stereo with left and right, you can place that in left and right of the field. So you'll hear it either from the left or from the right. Okay, so if we take this organ, for example, and we pan this to left and right, you'll hear what I mean because it should be in stereo. So here's to the left, and here's to the right, and back to the left, and back to the right again, and there's in center. Okay, so you can see where it plays as 2 stems coming up, signifying that it's a stereo track. So if we were to leave this in a balance option, we can either put this to left or right and leave it there. Okay, so very simple stuff for the balance option. I'm just going to reset that by using Alt and click. Okay, let's change it up now to the stereo pan. Stereo pan now gives you 2 options of where you want to pan the track. It's a bit more in-depth than the balance. And I quite tend to use it on anything that's stereo. So stereo overhead, stereo guitars, backing vocals where there's several parts, that type of thing. What we can do here is we have the option to move left and right, but you'll notice that the green bars here move along. So we can now have a full stereo pan, so it's full hard left and right, make it sound wider. That's what this sounds like. So with the organ, you can hear that the lower notes are on the left and the higher notes are up on the right hand side. That may sound a bit wide, but if we can narrow this down as well by using these white icons there, so we can pull one up. So now we've just made it all the sound appear on the left, but in a much wider stereo field. So let's have a listen to that. So with that stereo pan, you'll hear everything from the far right up into the center. Far left, sorry, up into the center. And then we can reverse that by moving the pan over. So you now will hear everything from everything will be placed on the far right and the center. Let's have a listen to that. There we go. With these types of tracks, it allows us not to have everything so far to the left and right. So if we're using drum overheads, for example, they'd be panned hard left and right in most cases. But because this is an organ and I want it a bit narrower, I've now pulled in both sides by using these white markers. Okay, so now it's tighter into the stereo field, but it is still stereo, so it's a much wider spread. Let's have a listen to it now. So there's a bit of depth there. Okay, so that's the stereo pan option. Now we're going to move down to the binaural pan. Binaural pan is the most advanced pan that Logic has, and in saying that, there's a lot more options for binaural pan. To give you a big overview and description of binaural pan is if you have a recording with the two microphones where our ears would be to pick up a most realistic human listening experience. It's used quite a bit in cinematics and video game sounds, but you can also use it in your music and productions just to add a bit more depth and clarity. Okay. So similar with using the binaural pan, we right click on the pan option and then click down to binaural. Like so. So, binaural pan has more options in it. So what you can do is you can double click on the pan option. There you go. And it brings up this window here, which is the binaural pan window. In here you can see that we have the standard left and right. So this is going to be the image of where the sound appears to come from. So you can have your left and right in front of you. And then you can also have right and left as if it's the sound is from behind you. You then can also have how close the sound sounds to you. So you can have it very close to you or very far away. And this can also be put in with the right and left sounds. So you can have it really close on the right, really close on the left, really close behind you, or really far behind you. Okay. Below this then we have a spherical mode, which basically just gives another representation of where it's coming from. This can be This can show where it's coming from, signifying hard left or hard right, in front or behind. We then have another option here, which is called planar. As the name suggests, it's on a plane. So again, it will show you where in the form of left and right. And with this option, we can then just choose how high or low we want to be in relation to that sound. So if we want to be above the sound, we just can move the vertical offset up. And if we want to be below the sound, we can drop it down to 0. We can also then move, we've got a tilt option and a tilt direction. So we can tilt up and down the plane and left and right of the plane as well. Just to signify that something could be moving overhead, for example, with binaural. So the way I like to use binaural is not on organs, but probably the best way to demonstrate it is on these breathing strings, because there's quite a few of them. So we'll select our breathing strings. We'll then right click on our pan, go down to binaural pan. There it is. And then we'll double click and open up the pan window. So if I bring up my musical keyboard, so if I play a note, if I play the D, you'll hear the strings play there. And now we can move the strings around and give you a demonstration of what it sounds like. So I'll just move them first from far away to close to you. So here we go. It's far away. There we go. So that's far away to close, and then we can move them from left to right as well. Okay. And then similarly, we can do this from behind. This sound may not come over fully in headphones, but if you do have a 5.1 surround sound mix, it probably sounds better there. Let's see what it sounds like. So here is the notes. Okay. With this, we can also change this spread. So if we want it all the way in the front or all the way in the back, that's how we can change that. Very similar to our stereo pans, the width there. Okay. So that's all 3 panning options in Logic. Using a combination of these will give you the most space and depth. And obviously using panning in a mix is going to help give you a lot more space and depth in the mix overall. Using these individually will help you. You don't have to use all 3, but a combination of stereo and balance will help you out quite a bit in adding that spatial effects that you need. Okay. Thank you very much.